Hello everyone. Today, we're delving into NIO's performance amid market turbulence. NIO's stock is down 1.71%, but it's showing relative strength. Let's explore the reasons behind this drop and what it means for NIO and its investors. What's going on with NIO stock? What's going on with Tesla, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers? Talk about some very important things going on with the market and why the market drops the way it did and how NIO was looking so far from a technical standpoint, as NIO is still showing some relative strength. Anyways, let's break down what's going on with NIO and the overall market. NIO is down 1.71% for the day. As of right now, I'm talking about according to the market, closing a little earlier than usual, but overall it's still doing quite well. And here's the reason why the market tanked today after we got some bad data, and as the market tanked, NIO ended up dropping. But it wasn't really that bad because NIO held support, and this is the very historical support at 10.5. We were talking about this level being tested. If you see that NIO was showing some strength because NIO didn't just crash down, it came down, then bounced up, and held support quite nicely before the market did. But the question is, how will NIO move tomorrow? That's why I want to talk about some news and some other important factors for today. Basically what happened was all the data that came out was quite decent and a little bit not that great, I would say. So what was decent was we had the PMI report, which was still a little bit above 50. That was all decent. The services data was decent. The only thing that was bad was the services prices went up to 58.9 on the index relative to 56.4. Despite the fact that everything was quite like okay, a little decent, this was pretty bad. Telling us that there's a sign that inflation is going up with the oil cuts going on in Saudi Arabia right now. I mean, the production cuts, basically that is not good news as well. It could lead to more increases in oil and other prices, and there are fears that inflation is going to start going up as a result. Some of the Fed speakers that spoke today are saying that the Fed may have to raise rates, and that is once again spooking the markets. Now when it comes to NIO, I want to just talk about some important things. NIO Summer is a global summer party for NIO users and friends. And this year, NIO Summer went global, sharing delicious food in Sweden, outdoor activities. So very, very awesome stuff is going on for NIO, getting more and more of their community together. The fun is on for them. You're going to be seeing more and more events like this, which is pretty awesome. Now, on top of all of this, there is some news that came out about how the Model Three Highland has caught the attention of William Lee Bin, and this is making lots and lots of headlines. If you see at the Munich Auto Show in Germany, there was a surprise guest to see the Tesla Model 3, and NIO's CEO, William Lee Bin, was there. Who was right there? There's a picture of him, he was there as well, just to see how it's looking inside the vehicle. Now, this led to some controversy because other people out there are saying that NIO has a tendency of copying their rivals, especially Tesla, when it comes to their goals and ambitions and the robotaxi. But the truth is, you could argue whatever you want about that. The bottom line is, how is this going to affect NIO? As long as they're not breaking any laws, right? As long as they're not doing anything infringing on Tesla, they're gonna be fine. Tesla released their patents, so they're completely fine with them getting inspiration. But NIO is not the exact same as Tesla. Could they get ideas from it? Sure, but they're not exactly the same. NIO has a different business model. They have the NIO phone coming out relatively soon. They have different ideas. They have battery swapping, which is different from Tesla. So there are things that are very different as well. But the question that matters most to investors is, how will this affect the share price for the long term? For the long term, NIO is set for some very extensive growth, and learning from Tesla could help NIO too. And I just hope they continue to improve based off what the bigger picture is. I want NIO to just maintain very, very good ethics in the process. But I'm still optimistic. I can't wait for what the future holds. Anyways, when it comes to NIO's ET7 sedan, some people are saying that it's very similar to like the Model S. Not necessarily, but there are some similarities here and there, sure. And with that said, I'm still very happy that NIO has its differences, such as like battery swapping, battery swap stations, and etc. And that's very awesome because they're the ones that committed to it, unlike Tesla. So there are differences too. So we can't just hold this against NIO. Now when it comes to NIO, Mizuho is saying you should buy NIO. The price per ratio is going up a little bit, showing that NIO has gained some strength relative to the market, which is pretty good. On top of this, when it comes to seasonality, Thursdays tend to be green only about 51% of the time, so it's pretty much just 50-50, and the short interest went up to about 14 million shares. On top of all of this, NIO's volume was about 26 million, very flat volume. So it's dropping on low volume, which is quite good. Anyways, let's understand what's happening in the market. If you look at Tesla, as long as these supports are present in the market, we have another potential nice recovery phase forming. Potential bullish triangle. We could see Tesla start pushing for 255 or higher tomorrow if we continue to break above the 200 EMA and hold above 250. That is likely what's going to happen with the market potentially bouncing. NIO came down, but it didn't really crash. We actually had 10.5, which is our historical support before we made an attempt to bounce. If you go and look at the charts from a distance like this, you can clearly see an inverse head and shoulders pattern, and there's a possibility of a bounce coming for NIO if it can successfully break above and hold the 200 EMA. So far, NIO hasn't done that, so we're not too worried about that. So we're going to take this one step at a time. So that's like the hourly 200. I want to talk about the current 200 right now. We want to see NIO try to get above 10.7. I think NIO is going to test this tomorrow and try to break to 10.7, then make its way back up to 10.9. I think it's just going to chop around the very high 10s and get a somewhat green day for tomorrow. Apple is down over 4.2%, continuing to freefall, but it is forming a bullish divergence. As of right now, a micro-sized bullish divergence is starting to form, so there's a chance Apple is going to make an attempt to bounce. It's also super oversold. Crazy drop on Apple. There's gonna be a bounce coming. It could bounce here, maybe it goes down to like 180, then it bounces. But somewhere it's getting very close to bottoming, and we're going to see a bounce very soon on Apple in my opinion. This is like very oversold, it needs to bounce soon here. I think this is gonna help the QQQ try to bounce too, and make its way back up as it's also forming inverse and shoulders-like structure to push back up to 376 plus. So we're looking for a bounce in the markets. Nvidia may try to push back up to about 473 plus to get back to 478. I think there's going to be a small bounce. I think the odds favor that, so we're just going to get ready for that for the time being. But anyways guys, hopefully this video was helpful for all of you. We're going to be looking for a bounce throughout the market. From Tesla spying the QQQ, I think NIO should make its way back up above 10.7 as time goes on. With that said, I thank you all so much for listening. Thank you for joining us today. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more stock predictions and market insights. Remember to turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update. Happy investing and see you in the next video.